I stepped into the field of education serendipitously. However, looking back, I would say the universe conspired it. When I started, I felt like I was really making a difference. But by the end of my role at AcadView, it was pretty clear to me that people weren't really motivated to learn. And that really put me off because I believed in learning and expected others to be the same way. I couldn't be further away from the truth. Then I thought, well, maybe I should be working with children because they're still innocent and uncorrupted. So I joined ParentTune to understand the psychology of parents, and what I learned disappointed me yet again. At this point, I realized that trying to change the world is a futile effort. It is much more effective to focus on oneself. And in seeing you, if people are inspired and transformed, then that is good enough. I have always been a curious child, as my mother describes. I wanted to become a scientist. My zeal for science probably stemmed from the practical education I had in England. But as life would have it, I became an engineer, mostly because everyone around me was becoming one. Truth be told, I don't know anything about engineering. In fact, I spent the 4 years of engineering exploring myself, discovering my strengths and weaknesses. I still find myself to be more complicated than any girl I've ever met, to the extent that sometimes I just wish why I couldn't be simpler. Wanting simple things, like a job, a family, house, kids. For whatever reason, those things do not interest me, especially a job. It makes me cringe. So I became an entrepreneur. But something was still missing. Something felt off. And for a long time, I couldn't figure out what it was. Then I realized that even though I had become an entrepreneur, I was still enslaved by my clients. I was still living for a tomorrow. Satisfaction was what I was really seeking. Having found it nowhere, I began to look at the things that I've done in the past. The things that gave me a sense of true and lasting satisfaction were the things that I had done for its own sake, rather than as a means to get something or become someone. The COVID 19 14-day incubation period made me realize that the field of education is close to my heart. My actions in the last 6 years reflect that I have always been driven by learning and a scope of positive transformation. It is only now that I have realized that I cannot transform anyone but myself.